Protvino, Russia, July 13, 1978. Imagine a flash of light brighter than 1,000 suns. No pain, just blinding light. And the knowledge that you're about to die. This isn't science fiction. This is what happened to Anatoli Bugorski, a 36-year-old Russian physicist who accidentally stuck his head inside the world's most powerful particle accelerator. A beam of protons traveling at nearly the speed of light went straight through his skull. The radiation dose was 400 times what's considered fatal, but he didn't die, and his survival remains one of the strangest medical mysteries in history. Born in 1942, Anatoly Petrovich Bugorski grew up in the Soviet Union during the height of the space race. Science wasn't just encouraged, it was glorified. The brightest minds were recruited into state-sponsored research programs, and Bugorski was one of them. After studying physics at Moscow State University, he joined the Institute for High Energy Physics in Protvino. This wasn't just any research facility, it was home to the U-70 synchrotron, the largest particle accelerator in the entire Soviet Union. This massive machine could accelerate particles to 99.9% the speed of light, recreating conditions from moments after the Big Bang. By 1978, Bugorski had been working with the U-70 for years. He knew the machine intimately. He knew that when the synchrotron was running, nothing, absolutely nothing, should be in the path of the beam. But on July 13, 1978, something went wrong. It's a routine maintenance day. A piece of equipment has malfunctioned. Anatoly Bugorski is assigned to check it out. Protocol is clear. When maintenance is being performed, the particle beam must be shut down completely. Multiple safety mechanisms ensure this. Warning lights, alarms, interlocks. Bugorski leans over the equipment to examine the malfunction. He's done this hundreds of times before. But somewhere in the chain of safety mechanisms, something has failed. The beam is still on. In that split second, a stream of protons accelerated to 76 billion electron volts passes through the back of his head, travels through his brain, and exits near the left side of his nose. He sees the flash, brighter than 1,000 suns, but there's no pain. The beam moves too fast for his nerves to register anything. Bugorski knows immediately what happened. He's a particle physicist. He knows exactly what that light means. He knows he's just received a dose of radiation far beyond what any human can survive. But he doesn't tell anyone. He doesn't cry out, plays steps back, finishes his work for the day, and goes home, and waits to die. By morning, the left side of Bugorski's face had swollen beyond recognition. He's rushed to a specialized clinic in Moscow. The radiation dose estimates are staggering, between 2,000 and 3,000 gray at the entry point. For context, just 5 gray delivered to the entire body is usually fatal. Bugorski has received 400 to 600 times that amount. Over the next few days, his skin begins to peel away, revealing the exact path the beam had burned through his body. You can see exactly where the protons entered and exited. The beam traveled through his brain, destroyed tissue in his left middle ear, and exited through bone and skin near his nose. One of his doctors is Angelina Guskova, the Soviet Union's leading expert in radiation medicine. She would later go on to treat Chernobyl victims. But Bugorski is our most puzzling case. This shouldn't be possible. And yet here he is, still breathing, still conscious, still talking. Why didn't he die? The answer lies in the nature of the beam itself. A particle accelerator fires a highly focused beam in a single, precise path, no wider than a pencil. It destroyed everything in its path, but left surrounding areas untouched. His heart, lungs, and digestive system were unaffected. Compare this to Chernobyl, where radiation spreads throughout the entire body, attacking every organ at once, triggering acute radiation syndrome. Bugorski didn't experience that. The beam was too focused, too precise. But even with localized damage, the dose was astronomical. Perhaps genetic factors played a role. Perhaps his DNA repair mechanisms were unusually efficient. We'll never know, because no one else has survived anything like this. Bugorski got extremely lucky. A few millimeters in any direction and the outcome would have been completely different. But luck doesn't mean he walked away unscathed. The left side of Anatoly Bugorski's face is permanently paralyzed. The beam destroyed his facial nerves. When he smiles, only the right side moves. The paralyzed side doesn't age either. While the right develops wrinkles, the left remains eerily smooth. He is completely deaf in his left ear, replaced by constant tinnitus. His brain tissue continued to die for years after the accident, but his cognitive abilities remained remarkably intact. However, mental work exhausted him like never before. Then there are the seizures, complex partial seizures and occasional tonic-clonic convulsions, unpredictable and dangerous, but manageable with medication when he could afford it. The accident was classified for over a decade. Soviet authorities were paranoid about nuclear accidents. Bugorski was monitored, studied, and silenced. He continued working at the same institute, even becoming experiment coordinator for the very accelerator that injured him. But when it came to financial support, the Soviet Union abandoned him. In 1996, he applied for disability benefits to get free epilepsy medication. His application was denied. By the late 1990s, after the Soviet collapse, Western journalists found him living in poverty. He couldn't afford to leave Protvino, couldn't afford proper medical care. When asked about his experience, he said,
"This is in effect an unintended test of proton warfare. The human capacity for survival is being tested."
Bugorski's case is unique in radiation medicine history. What it teaches us is that the distribution of radiation matters just as much as the dose. This has implications for cancer treatment. Proton beam therapy uses focused beams to destroy tumors while minimizing damage to healthy tissue. Bugorski's survival, in a twisted way, validates this approach. Safety protocols at practical accelerators improved because of his accident. Today, the chances of someone accidentally encountering an active beam are virtually zero. Despite the seizures, paralysis, and poverty, Bugorski completed his PhD and continued working in physics. He married Vera Nikolaevna and had a son named Peter. He lived a life, not the one he might have had, but a life nonetheless. Anatoli Bugorski is still alive today, in his 80s, still living in Russia, still dealing with the consequences. The seizures haven't stopped, the paralysis hasn't healed, the tinnitus still rings, but he's here, still thinking, still defying everything we thought we knew about radiation and survival. He doesn't see himself as a victim, he sees himself as a data point, a test of human biology's limits. On July 13, 1978, a man put his head in a particle accelerator. He should have died, but he didn't, and that makes all the difference. Thank you for sticking around to the end. If you enjoyed this, a subscription really helps us continue creating more content like this.